Welcome to another episode of Boujee Best Friend. I am your host, Coco Cornelia, and today is the first summer Friday. It is June 21st, and that means that summer is officially here. Even though I live in Miami and summer, it's like all year round. However, summers in Miami are actually really rainy, and it's almost a storm every other week, which I kind of love because I just love relaxing at home and recharging. My life is pretty hectic as is. I just have to be at a lot of places a lot of times. So I like this time to kind of just relax. I don't have any crazy summer plans. I feel like I'm in the building stage of my life and I love my life. So I don't really feel like I need a vacation from my life. I would just like to sleep for a week without people needing something from me or without doing any projects or without going to any events and something like that. But I'm very grateful with my life, and there's so many amazing opportunities that have been going on recently. I didn't even talk about my Boujee Bestrip Volume 2 on the podcast. If you're following my socials, you've seen that I organized a second Boujee Bestrip, which is all-female retreat for women who want the very best from life. I think the reason why I started these retreats, this is just the second one. The reason why I started hosting these retreats and events and meetups, there's going to be so much more in the future, but I just want to bring like-minded women together and surrounding yourself with people that are aligned, that you're in the same mindset, same level, or at least you're striving for the same things. I think that's so powerful. And we spent 5 days here in Miami. Last time we did it in Mallorca and Ibiza, and we worked with an agency. So I have my management company, which is called Harmana Agency. Harmana and I worked with another agency, and they were fine. Just like, I think I can do this better. So this time we did it ourselves, and we had help from Emily Sobel, which is one of my close friends, and she is a social media consultant and an influencer herself. So she helped me facilitate the logistics and the itinerary. And if you saw Boujee Bestrip on socials, you saw that we went to the best fucking places in Miami. I really wanted the girls to experience Miami the Coco way. I'll just name drop a few restaurants that we been to in case you come to Miami and you want to check them out. So we went to Mila, which is honestly one of my favorites. We spent the day at Nikki Beach. We went to Amara Paraiso. That was such a beautiful like waterfront view. We went to Kiki on the River for brunch. We went to Bodega. That's like a speakeasy spot. Like you go through like a taco stand. It's really cool. What else we do? We stayed at the Good Time Hotel, which is a really cute like girly hotel. We had a slumber party the first night, which I loved because everybody loves a slumber party. And we had Shake Shack, we had Sweet Green, we just had an amazing Carrot Express, sushi. Like we had a ball, and all the girls received a pretty valuable goodie bag. I think we valued it over like $1,500. And then I had a giveaway, and I gave one of you guys who will listen to the podcast and leaves a review and comments on my stuff, I send one of you the goodie bag. So I just always love giving back, and I feel like I'm so blessed and grateful, and I don't want to say privileged, but yes, to be in this position to have all these amazing products. And I do pretty much weekly giveaways on my socials and my broadcast channel. So if you haven't got a little goodie from me yet, go to the broadcast channel and just participate in the giveaways. I love giving back, and it just makes my soul on fire. Like when I make other people happy, not in a people pleasing kind of way, but I just love showing people. Honestly, one of the reasons why I hosted this Boujee Bestrip is to provide these girls the best fucking experience. We had facials by the pool. We had face massages at Nikki Beach. So like imagine you're relaxing on the beach, drinking rosé, and somebody's massaging your face. So when you experience those things on your own, you will never settle for a relationship that doesn't treat you the same way. Not that they need to give you a facial on the beach, but just like I want to provide amazing experiences so you never settle for less. Another really exciting thing that I've been working on for a really long time is my jewelry collection. Today was the official launch. but we've been working on this for, I don't even remember how long. I feel like it's been over a year, and it's with this brand called Wove Made, and they approached me to design a collection. So the collection is called the Coco Collection. There's 4 pieces, and we have 2 rings. One is called Inner Sparkle. If you're watching on video, you can see them, but Inner Sparkle is, I'm wearing it on my pinky ring because I've never worn a ring on my pinky, and I was like, why am I neglecting my pinky? So I decided to wear this one on my pinky ring, and it's super cute. It's all gold and diamonds, and inside of the ring it's engraved Know Your Worth, which is also the tattoo that I have here on my, is this a wrist, or I don't even know what's this on this like bone, I don't know. I was trying to be very intentional with the names of the product. So this ring is, it's called Inner Sparkle because we all have that little inner sparkle inside us that makes people attracted to us, not in like a romantic way. Like you have that inner sparkle that nobody else has. People come to you for that special something that you have, and by wearing this ring, you will never forget that you are special. Like you are so unique, and I don't want you to ever lose sight of that. The other ring is called Perfectly Imperfect. It has like an asymmetric design. It's beautiful, like dripped in diamonds, and also has Know Your Worth engraved. The reason why it's called Perfectly Imperfect is nothing in life is perfect. Like we're always striving for, more and for this perfect life, but you have to be okay with things not being perfect all the time. And we're all trying, and we're all just, if you have good intentions deep down, things are going to happen in your favor. So this again serves as a reminder, even if things go south sometimes, it's all right. Like don't be so hard on yourself. We also have a necklace that's called Diamond Drop because I just love diamonds, and the pendant is a shape of a water drop or a pear. You can buy the necklace with or without the pendant, and you can remove the pendant when you, like if you want a more delicate look. But honestly, I've been wearing this all the time, and I go to the gym with this necklace. I do everything. Like these are my staple pieces now. I will wear these pieces all the time because they're just so beautiful, and I am genuinely obsessed with them and in love with them. And the reason why the collection took so long is because I was always changing something. I'm like, I'm not in love with this design. Let's do this all over again, even though we're like almost approved the design. And we also have earrings that are called Well Wishes, and it says XOXO. You might have mentioned that I always write XOXO if I'm sending you a little letter, or I just love XOXO, and also like Gossip Girl. Forever fan. The reason why this collection came out the way it did is because I wanted to create pieces that you can wear every single day, and they're gonna be delicate enough for an everyday wear, but also if you go to a really fancy dinner or something, they're still stunning, like beautiful, gorgeous pieces. And I'm not the type of person that likes to play around with jewelry a lot, or I don't even like to play around with fashion a lot. I just feel like I don't have that fashion line in me, or I don't know how to stack jewelry. So I just want to have my tried and true pieces that are going to look perfect in every single occasion. So I think those are the 2 biggest personal/professional updates. And when I got home from the jewelry, we had a launch dinner the other day. And when I got home, I started bawling, crying, because I might even post that video. I was like, well, I'm not going to post this. I'm not going to cry on the internet again. It's a little cringe. But I might post it because I was crying because I was just like, I never thought this is possible for me. And I used to hide, behind the scenes as a makeup artist for years and years because I was thinking that I'm not good enough to be in front of the camera. I'm not good enough to be like the main face of something. So I was like, it's okay, I'll just, be a makeup artist. And I always wanted to be in front of the camera and, be the face of something. But it's almost like I needed to first give myself permission to be the main character of my life. And then I was able to make it happen. And a lot of that had to do with my mindset and with my daily habits and with my routines. And I mean, this entire episode actually is about habits and routines that are going to help you improve your life. And if you're thinking like, well, a lot of people, this is so fascinating to me that a lot of people think that my life just like fell into my lap and that I was born into something and that I'm just, somebody recently commented on my TikTok that they thought that I like have everything figured out and my life is just so easy. And And it's kind of crazy that I portray this image. I don't, like, that's not my intention, and I don't think that I do, but I see a lot of people coming to me and they're like, I thought that you, I don't know, are like born into a super rich family. I don't need to mention this in every single episode, but like, I literally came to the US with 2 suitcases and $1,000, and I built this whole life here for myself 10 years ago. That's when I came. And I just think you have to have a lot of discipline and motivation and desire and drive, and it is not possible to create the life of your dreams if you're not disciplined and driven. And I know it's not always fun. It's not always fun to say no to drinks with friends because you have to work on something. But before I get into all the habits and hacks, I want you to take a second right now. I want you to think about your ideal life, that ideal version of you. How does she walk? How does she talk? What does she do every single day? What does she eat? Where does she, like, what does she envision her in your mind? And every decision you make, think, would this higher version of me do this? Or would she do something else? And I know that's much easier said than done. I definitely still struggle with my habits. I don't want to say struggle even. It's a work in progress. And as we said in the beginning, perfectly imperfect. Nothing is going to be perfect, but it's always the intention. If you're asking yourself, what credentials does Coco have to tell us about, habits to improve their life? I mean, I used to be a server. I worked in restaurants. Then I worked an office job. Then I feel like I changed 15 fucking careers in my life, maybe even more. And I was always just striving for more. And there was a rough time in my life when I totally lost myself. And when I first moved to Miami, I didn't have a clear vision of who I want to be or what I want to do. And I was spending time with the wrong people, partying, just like wasting my life away. And one day when I realized that my life is actually in my hands, that I can actually control my life, that's when I realized I can actually make this happen. Like, I can get this done. So nowadays, when I see like my face on this huge Wove campaign, I am getting emotional because I'm like, I used to not believe that I can do this. Then I started believing, and now I see it right in front of me. So if you just, and I'm not saying that you just have to manifest and things are going to magically happen. You have to work so damn hard for things to happen. Okay, actually, before I get into my habits and my routines, I want to tell you about this book, Atomic Habits. This book really changed my life and is going to change your life. I highly, highly recommend you read it. I'm going to put a link in the show notes so you can take a look. I have it right here in my hands. It's crazy how we sometimes overcomplicate things. And so basically, what is a habit? A habit is a routine or a behavior that is performed regularly and in many cases automatically. And it just teaches you how tiny changes make such a huge difference over time. It teaches you how your habits shape your identity, how to build better habits, the best way to start a new habit. This was a really interesting chapter. Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more. And I never looked at it that way. But basically what it's saying is that your environment is stronger than your mindset. So that means if you are surrounding yourself with people who drink a lot or they eat junk food, it's more likely that you're going to start becoming one of them than you can change that entire group of people because they don't think they're doing anything wrong. And a really key factor in changing your habits and improving your daily routines and night routines is in self-control. So this book, I love it so much. I think you have to read it, please. So if you would ask me 3 years ago when I just moved to Miami if some things were possible for me, I would say no, because I was not aligning my behavior with that future version of me, and my habits and my routines were not aligning with that version of myself. And then I realized that actually life is in my hands and I can take control of every single thing that I'm doing. And where I am today is a direct correlation of my decisions in the past. Once you master your habits and your routines, your life is going to become so much better. And it's not easy to break a bad habit. If you've been doing something quote unquote incorrectly for the past 20 years, you're not going to change overnight. So give yourself some grace and don't be so pissed at yourself if you don't become a gym rat out of nowhere, but there are certain things that you have to do and like you have to put into work to become that future version of you. So try becoming aware of what you're doing, because a lot of us are not even aware of our bad habits. So I used to have this habit that I'm very messy. I'm not dirty, but I'm messy. I have a lot of things and I have a lot of products and I have a lot of clothes and just I have a lot of shit everywhere and it accumulates. And what I used to do, I would come home and I would just dump everything on my desk, like my desk where I work. And I realized if I'm trying to be, first of all, I think you already know this, but I am planning to be like mega, mega, mega successful, like global domination, changing the world type of vibe. So if I come home and I dump my socks, my bags, my books, my perfume, my coffee cup all on my desk here where I'm supposed to be working and creating this huge change in my life, like that's not possible, because that future version of me wouldn't have this desk all messy all the fucking time. So I really started to put a conscious effort into cleaning up after myself. And sometimes you just have to even put it in your calendar, like clean for 15 minutes every single day, or just habit stacking. That's a big one. So if you need to do something that you really don't like cleaning or folding laundry or vacuuming, do something else at the same time that you like. I remember growing up, I was always folding clothes with my mom, and we would watch a fun TV show while we were folding clothes. So that way time has passed faster. If you need to put your steps in, either put on a podcast, listen to music, call a friend, do something that makes you happy at the same time while you're doing something that is almost like a necessary evil. And don't get me wrong, my habits and my routines have been all over the place, and I haven't been so regimented with them recently. So I think I'm also making this episode almost as like a reminder to myself to become more regimented about it, because I don't know, I just see myself making excuses like, oh, it was really rainy in Miami the whole week, so I was like, oh, I'm not gonna go work out. But then when I do work out, I feel so strong and I'm so empowered. And one of the reasons why is because you know that not everybody does it, and you see actual physical improvements. So getting in shape is really such a crucial part in your self-improvement journey. Putting in that work and being disciplined about your body and your health, because you don't want to be 60 years old and not able to throw your grandchild in the air because you were too lazy to, walk a bunch of, I'm not going to say 10K steps every single day, but like you just didn't want to invest any time into your wellness. And now it's almost like be proactive instead of reactive. By now, you know how crucial your daily routines and habits are for your glow up, but also your health and wellness. And that comes in super handy when it comes to stretching. If I'm having a heavy computer day and I have to sit in the same position for hours staring at my screen, my body literally hurts. Wes and I both work from home, and we actually remind each other to have little stretch sessions with Alo Moves. We love this class by Calvin. That's like a 10-minute stretch where you release the tension from your upper and lower body and also your wrists and your neck. Alo Moves is my favorite app for everything health and wellness. It helps me stay on track and almost serves like a safety blanket in a way. It's like I know that whatever way I'm feeling, I'm going to find something on the app that's going to help me. Whether that's a full body stretch, breathwork class, sound bath, I just love their personal growth section, and obviously all the workout options, Pilates, yoga, HIIT, boxing, the list goes on and on and on. So this summer, stay on top of your wellness routine no matter where you go, and sign up for Alo Moves today. Join alomoves.com and use code BESTFRIEND for a 30-day free trial plus 20% off an annual membership. That's alomoves.com, code BESTFRIEND for a 30-day free trial and 20% off an annual membership. alomoves.com, code BESTFRIEND. So your daily habits and your routines, we said already, it's like an automatic behavior. So what do you automatically start doing when maybe you have 30 minutes off of work? And are you going to start mindlessly scrolling through your phone, or you're going to, I don't know, try to educate yourself in some way, or read a book, or reading is crucial for improvement. So I just want to walk you through my daily routine, and if some of these tips help you, that's awesome. So this is how I wake up around 6:30 every single day, pretty much because that's when Rocky wakes up, and then I walk him. So I walk him every morning, and then Wes walks him every evening, and then in the middle of the day we just swap. But basically I wake up, I walk Rocky, I come upstairs to the apartment, brush my teeth, tongue scrape, make my coffee. So after I walk Rocky and I make my coffee, Rocky literally starts running towards the balcony, and then we hang out on the balcony. And that's like my little moment to be mindful. And that's my little moment to either journal or read a book or meditate or something, to just ground myself. And I see how much of it, like, it just makes a huge difference. Huge. So ideally, so I would do my little mindfulness session until like 8 a.m. and then I would go work out. And I like to take my supplements on an empty stomach because that way they function the best. I can have a whole nother episode about supplements, but basically I like Happy V's prebiotic probiotic, which targets your gut health, vaginal health, immune health, and just like overall health. And then I take Thirsty, which is a daily hydrating supplement, which is actually my brand that I'm building. And I think this is the first time that I'm mentioning the product name to you guys. I don't know if I mentioned the name before, but it's Thirsty for healthy skin. And it's going to come out in the next, I don't know, man. It's been delayed. It's been so delayed. Like, I've been changing the packaging so many times. So, but basically, Thirsty is a daily hydrating supplement for healthy skin. And I just like to do this as while I'm doing my skincare. So it's like a part of my skincare routine. And I try not to use my phone until 9 a.m. What I mean by that is, sure, I like glance through it. I see there's nothing urgent, but I don't want to scroll. I don't want to start replying to messages. I don't want to start giving to the world, because the way I look at this, it's like, if you just woken up, actually there's so much science behind this and like brain chemistry and these like neurotransmitters. I don't know much about that to like verbalize it to you, but I know the gist of it. So it's like you wake up and you start giving to everyone before filling your cup. So let's say you wake up and you have a beautiful day, and then you see a really annoying message, or you see that your friends were hanging out last night without you. And then that's literally how your day starts. And this sets the tone for your day. It is scientifically proven over and over again that your morning sets your entire day. So like what you do in the morning, that's pretty much, if you're pissed off in the morning, your day is not going to become any better. It might, but like, most likely it's just going to be one annoying thing after the other. So try to really like put your fucking phone away until 9. Like, it's not so hard. It's really not so hard. It did take me some time, but that is going to change your life like 1,000,000%. Just put your phone away. So I have days when I do like a full-on workout, or I just walk with Rocky. So when I'm walking with him, I usually listen to a podcast or a meditation or something to just set the tone for my day again. My schedule is different every single day, so it depends what I need to do, but I like to give myself some extra time in the morning, and then I would start working around 11, and then I work until like super late at night. So I can work late. I can work until midnight. I can work until whatever time. I know some people just can't focus after the sun goes down, but for me, when I'm doing my creative work or when I need to edit something, I'm like, I prefer working when the world is like sleeping, because I'm not distracted. And I see myself sometimes reacting to Slack and my messages and my emails instead of like having a scheduled time for emails. So that's something that I'm working on. Something that I'm trying to improve is not to be so reactive throughout my workday, and just schedule time when I'm handling certain tasks, because that's how you can grow. If you're just constantly reacting to every single thing, you're just losing focus. You can run a fucking business if you're just going to react to every single thing everybody says. But honestly, I see my life and my career improving the more disciplined and the more focused I am. So, I mean, that says something, because 3 years ago now, I had no fucking clue what I'm doing and like my direction in life. And I really changed. If you've been following me for a while, like, you see the growth, like you see the change, and it's only internal work and it's hard work. And one of the really important thing is like cutting off toxic people. Not just toxic, like people that bring you down, but just people that are not aligned with you and people that don't have the same interest as you. And I know you heard me say this before, but they are not going to help you grow and get to the level where you want to get at. So that's another really important thing, just like cutting out people that don't see the same vision that you see. And I even know that when I would share my goals and dreams with certain people, they would either look at me like, who do you think you are that you can do this? Or they would look at me with some kind of level of jealousy. So I just started even holding back more information. Like the jewelry line, I told maybe like 5 people about it. And I just also sometimes I just don't like talking about it before it's done, because I don't like people that just talk. don't really put it into because talk is cheap. Like action, show me what you got. Don't just talk about it. I just want to see you actually doing the things you said you're going to do. So that's why I guess I don't really talk a lot about my next steps. And I have to say, somebody that I learned a lot from is Mariana Hewitt and Lauren Bostic. I've been listening to their podcasts since 3-4 years now, before I even had my own podcast. And so Mariana Hewitt, she's a wellness beauty blogger. She's the founder of Summer Fridays, and she interviews so many super successful people. So does Lauren and Michael, but Lauren and Michael are husband and wife, and they have the Skinny Confidential show. And then Mariana Hewitt has Life with Mariana. I highly suggest you listen to their podcasts. Obviously, Boujee Best Friend is your favorite podcast, but they just give amazing tips, and they interview all these wellness experts and people who, and something that Mariana Hewitt always says, she's like, I interviewed so many people and I see that their morning and evening routine is really what sets them apart. Sure, there's entrepreneurs that wake up and have a coffee and get straight to work and check their phone, and that's that. But if you don't have that moment where you reconnect with yourself, such as my little balcony routine with Rocky, you really you're just like a servant to the world, and you don't want to do that. Like, you have to give some time to yourself, because if you start your day off by reacting to everything and anyone, you're not in control. You're not going to feel like you're in control, and you're actually not in control. I think I had breakfast around 11, and I mostly eat eggs and just something easy. I have to become much better about meal prepping my lunch, because my lunch is always just something whatever. Wes and I started doing Home Chef recently, which is a food delivery service that has these pre-made meals, and then you just make them. They send you a meal. It's fresh, so you need to cook and whatever. But I see myself not even having time for that, or I'm not willing to find time to make myself a meal, so I just pick something up, which is still healthy, but damn, it's expensive. When you pick up a salad every day for $20, it's yo, you can make that salad, but I need to become more disciplined and better organized. I need to organize myself better when it comes to food during the week, because I see that causes a lot of frustration and delay in me performing my best, because I spend 30 minutes thinking about what I'm going to eat. So your life is going to become so much better when you don't have that decision fatigue. That's a term I learned from Lauren Bostic. It's you don't need to spend time thinking what you're going to do on some everyday things that should be a ritual almost. So you should know what you're eating. You should know what you're wearing. That's why Steve Jobs was wearing the same outfit every single day, because he didn't want to waste time trying to decide what outfit he should wear. And obviously, we know Apple is, doing well, right? So when it comes to routines, the ideal day doesn't happen every single day, but you just, you change. You just always need to try to do your best. You should just try to do your best and try to always think, what would that higher version of me do? Also think about, so I go to a lot of events, and I love supporting people and I love meeting people, but sometimes I have to ask myself, is this worth my time? In a way, if I go to an event, I get dressed, takes me 30 minutes to get there. I'm at the event for 2 hours. I come home. So that's 5 hours of my day. Getting dressed, getting there, being at the event, coming back home. And that energy that's you have to put out. Because if you're going to an event and you're just standing in the corner like a blob, there's no point of you going. So you have to put on a show when you go to the event, and meeting, that's, sometimes people ask me how do you get invited to all these cool events, and how do you do this and this? And I'm I put myself out there and I work so hard to be in these rooms, but it's exhausting sometimes. So I have to ask myself, is this event or this dinner or this anything gonna put me one step forward or one step closer to this ideal version of me? Or is it just going to be like a time waster? Because this is going to sound harsh. I definitely have moments where I just want to hang out with my girlfriends and just like talk shit. But sometimes I have to say no to those moments because I know that it's not going to be productive and it's not going to, like, I'm in the building stage of my life. I'm not trying to relax right now. I'm trying to grind as hard as possible. I have a lot of energy right now, so I'm trying to grind as much as I possibly can. Like, I don't have kids yet. I know when kids come into play, everything changes. So this is my like grind years. So I'm not going to go spend like 5 hours with somebody and just like drink wine and talk shit, which I used to do. I used to do that so much. And I saw that my life was not progressing. I was just staying stagnant and staying the same. And I don't know who said this, but one of these experts that I listen to, they're like, if you don't grow, you die. Like, you mentally die. And that's crazy. Another podcast that I really like is Stephen Bartlett's Diary of a CEO. I really like listening to him. And he also asked people about their morning and evening routine. And you just like, when you start listening to these like self-improvement, entrepreneurship conversations, you see that there's a common theme, you know, your morning and evening routine and who you spend your time with and how much you react to your phone and how much time you spend on your phone. You just see that this all makes sense. Okay, let me talk to you about my evening routine. So ideally, let's say I don't have any events or dinners or anything like that. Also, when you go to these dinners, you're eating such unhealthy food and you don't know what's in there, and it's not gonna hit your nutrition goals. Let's keep it at that. So my ideal evening routine, I would put my phone away around like 8 p.m. and I would just chill with Wes at home and Rocky, and I would watch a movie, or Wes and I love watching to these podcasts and entrepreneurship podcasts. By the way, I didn't mention I'm building Thirsty with Wes. So that's another thing that I love about our relationship, is that we're both so driven and we have the same goals. And I think that's really important when you're trying to find a partner. Like, are you aligned with what's your vision? Like, is your life supposed to be mediocre, or your life is supposed to be amazing, change the entire trajectory of your family's life? Like, who do you want to be? But anyway, so no phone. So I try to put my phone away as soon as I'm done with work, but at least an hour before bed. And I have these automatic lamps. They're called Lofty, and they dim, and they give you like a go to bed signal. So they dim the lights, and that's really cool because you're like, okay, it's time to wind down. And I always shower before bed. I shower multiple times a day. I just like getting woken up with a shower. And during the day, if I'm going somewhere or after a workout, I again shower. And then in the evening, I shower. I just love to be clean. Some people say that it's not like good for your skin, but I mean, my skin is pretty okay. I put body lotion because we know that a body lotion feels just like a warm hug, or a body oil or something just to like nurture your body. Sometimes I use some face tools or like a gua sha or any kind of like body treatment. I started using body perfume, and you know how like when you smell a perfume, it always like brings you back to a memory or something. So whenever I put this body perfume, it's almost like my body's like, okay, cool, it's time to go to bed. I love that. And I have a few that I'm mixing up, and I'm gonna link all of them on Shop My Shelf and my LTK. I'm trying to be much better about linking products that I use, because I've used so many products in my life, and I kind of know which ones are worth it and which ones aren't. So I'm going to be much better with posting all of that. Let's hope it happens the next week or so. I brush my hair. I put on a hair tie, a silk hair tie. I put on my PJs. I started investing in like high-end, super soft luxury pajamas. Changed the game. I also started mouth taping because of Lauren Bostic. She created this mouth tape, and I have to say, mouth taping is such an experience. It's almost like I can't even explain. Like, you have to just try it for yourself. Like, taping your mouth before going to bed, the sleep that you get is just, it's very different. And I couldn't even believe that putting a tape on your mouth can make such a huge difference. So mouth taping is awesome. I don't do it every single night, but I do it most nights. Then I go to bed, and next to my bed, there's like a little pillow spray that I spray all over, like a little calming lavender or something. And then I have a book. It's called The Pivot Year. My friend Lisa Gilmore gave me this book, and I read a page or two of, it's like also mindfulness and mindset. It just puts your brain at like ease and relaxes you. The worst thing in the universe that you can do is to scroll on your phone or on TikTok before going to bed. I'm really good at this. Like, I'm really good at not being on my phone before going to bed, because I just see that it makes me feel like shit. And sometimes if I scroll, like let's say if I'm like watching your story and then I'm gonna dream about your story. It happened to me before that I was like consuming somebody's content and then I would dream about their content in my sleep. I'm like, why are you taking over my time? So I stopped doing that. So really, I'm like really regimented about not being on my phone before going to bed. And gratitude, again, something that Wes and I started implementing together. We just ask each other, what are we grateful for, you know, today, or it really changes everything. Gratitude changes everything, and you need to start implementing it if you haven't already. A 5-minute journal is a really great way to start. But yeah, that is really important. And what's funny is I've been listening to these like self-improvement and all these, you know, people for the past many, many years, but I didn't implement it right away. It's almost like you can hear something, but until you are ready to actually make that change, and until you're ready to, but unless you utilize the advice that you're listening to, nothing is going to change. So you need to decide, okay, do I have the discipline and the drive to actually make a change? Like, do I want this bad? Do I really want to improve enough to make those changes? Because it's not easy to make changes. It's not easy to break a habit. Like, that's why so many people struggle with the most basic mundane things that they do every single day. And they're like, I just don't know how to change this annoying habit that I do. But it's all self-control and discipline. So to conclude, if you took anything from this episode, I want it to be this. I want you to visualize yourself and your life and your future life. Like, who do you want to be? And how does that feel? What does she do? How does she walk? How does she dress? How does she spend her time? Does she mindlessly scroll every day for 3 hours before going to bed? Or she is reading a book that's going to help her improve her business, or that's going to help her improve her relationship, or like, what does she do? And then every decision, and then every time you're thinking, oh, should I do this or that? Just like think about that higher version of you. What would she do? There's this other girl that I really like. Her name is Mimi Bouchard. And she is talking about adjusting your internal self-image to align with your future self. So like, you need to adjust your internal self-image to align with your future self, and then you're gonna automatically start acting like her, and then you're gonna attract the opportunities that you want, or the relationship that you want. Because I'm gonna have another episode about like attracting the man of your dreams, because that's a common theme in my content and that's what people always ask about. But if you're not ready, so like, let's say if you want this perfect man, but you are nowhere close to being a valuable match for him, and I'm sorry if this sounds harsh, but like, you can't expect to get a guy who has his shit together if you're like scrambling every day. Like, you are just not an energetic match. So we're going to talk about this in one of my other episodes, how to align your behavior to attract the opportunities that you desire. Until then, XOXO, your Boujee Best Friend. Boujee Bestie, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to subscribe to my podcast so you never miss out. I release new episodes every Friday. If you love Boujee Best Friend, please leave a 5-star rating and a review. Your support means the world and it helps the show grow. You can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Coco Beauty, and you can find Boujee Best Friend on Apple, Spotify, and all other major podcasting platforms. Love you. Bye.